Okay, great. So the title of our talk this morning is following in the theme of Armor of the Dharma. We're going to address shame and blame. So we've taught, and we're going to look at it through the lens of conditionality, which we've taught on many times, but maybe considering that conditionality is protective, is a kind of armor, gives us a little different angle on it. Um, so how is it that the teaching of conditionality is protective? What is it protecting us from?
Yeah, that's where we started and jumped off in a conversation between us to what are we being protected from by knowing conditionality? And we did a little bit of free form writing. Nelly came up with this sentence, which I really like, that knowing conditionality protects us from taking inappropriate or unskillful responsibility. That it actually, by knowing the teaching of conditionality, it will help protect us not to take up, I did something wrong, when it's not really the right thing. Oh, I'm getting myself mixed up here, but okay, I do have an example, which is a history of, and I think not only myself, but of women, of being taught to reflexively take responsibility for situations when they go wrong and to apologize and to say, I'm sorry, when nothing has been done intentionally. Nelly, jump in.
Yeah, well, I realize that we get on usually at 8 a.m. on Sundays and work on our t conversation together. And Linda wasn't there at 8 a.m. and she wasn't there for a while. And then and so she slept in and she's been sick and apparently needed the rest. But at the end, Linda, I realized you apologized for that.
Ah, there's a habit, right?
There's a habit. It was right there at the end of our conversation. I didn't catch it till a few minutes later when I reflected back, of
Yeah.
course. But I sort of made the comment that came more from the lens of conditionality. And I said, yeah, those viruses, they,
Yeah.
I was putting responsibility on the virus, which I think was closer to appropriate. Probably more
Yeah.
complicated, but
Well, it's interesting in the light of the topic of shame, which is we could often feel shame for these past habits that we do reflexively. Like that just came out of my mouth. I've not been well. Of course, I'm gonna, be sorry that you were waiting, Nelly, there for a long time without me. But but what's interesting right now is that understanding the conditionality of it doesn't bring up the same kind of shame that I might have had one time around, oh, there I went again. I apologized for something I didn't do. I wasn't able to see into the conditions, which is what we teach you all and us all. Yeah.
right. And in that particular case, when you didn't come on, I just figured, okay, fine. I'll just work on the talk. She's sick.
Yeah.
She's sleeping in. She whatever, her alarm didn't work. I don't know, but it yeah. I stepped up, I felt, and took maybe appropriate responsibility. Like, okay, I got to
Right.
get this talk together.
Right. Well, that is with a different person, and I'd say a different person outside the Dharma, a different person who might want to say that that was bad, that was wrong, it was rude of me, that there is a sense of I should be put in my place so that I know that not to do that again. Like there's a way at that point where maybe even unconsciously we shame others for not being perfect, for not actually being there when we need them, not being able to see the conditions of the larger situation.
And that is very common indeed. Yes.
Yeah,
And painful, really.
painful. Right, right. And to have an absence of that, I would say with the people in the Sangha, that feels to me to be pretty much the way we want to operate, is to not have those reflexes take over and be center stage. in our interactions between us.
Yeah, and I was playing around when I was working on this talk with the idea that if there could be a pill that would take away all blame and shame, I decided I'd take it. That would be a really good pill. It would be worth whatever other side. Well, I don't know what the side effects would be because it's just
Mm.
make believe, but I would be willing to tolerate some side effects to get rid of shame and blame. But then um, I realized the conditionality could be the knowledge of conditionality, the continued awareness and contemplation, reflection on conditionality, filling it out. I think that's a much more sustaining, medication to take for shame and blame also, because this is even better than time release because and time release pill like starts wearing out over time. It lasts longer, but but the teaching on conditionality even grows more potent over time.
But you are pointing to how painful shame and blame are, and that dance, that duo dance that we do with ourselves and with others, um, because we'd be willing to do something outside the Dharma to get rid of it magically, which is not what we believe that could actually work anyway.
Right. And I'm resistant to taking pharmaceuticals, but I said, oh, in this case, I'll do that.
Yeah, yeah,
I'd really like to eradicate blame and shame. Yes, indeed.
yeah, yeah. Well, we wrote quite a bit about it in our book. So maybe we'll bring in the two paragraphs that we were going to read now. What do you think, Nelly?
Yep, take it away.
Okay. So this is from Reflective Meditation, Cultivating Kindness and Curiosity in the Buddha's Company. Um, Seeing my life, the lives of others, and the life of our world through the lens of conditionality has the potential to change so many things. It's like watching a play performed on a revolving stage. When they turn the set around, you see a whole different scene. The scene, as viewed through conditionality, is kinder because we can see behind the curtain and come closer to understanding what is actually going on, or more of what's going on. We can see where we have some impact, where we may have some impact, and some things that are outside the scope of our influence.
A friendly reminder. This seeing the world through the lens of conditionality develops slowly, and with it, our insight into how we're all intertwined. But we inevitably slip back into seeing the world as composed of a lot of separate individual people and things. And then we just inevitably blame ourselves and others for what goes awry. The set change doesn't happen with the flick of a switch. Slowly, we see a bit more, then a bit more of the complexity of things unfolding. Slowly, we see more about how they interplay, bounce off one another, impact one another.
We said the word slowly there a lot.
It is slow. It is very slow, I think. And
Yeah,
that demands patience, which is another development on our path.
right, right. And it's patience because at times we start to see conditionality and then lose it and then feel upset about that, or not really understanding how am I back into a kind of you and me, and the shame and the blame kind of creeping back in, and then understanding conditionality again and having it kind of wear away. So we really are talking about this slow wearing away process that really pills don't work like that.
Yes, right. My my fantasy pill. Yes, a slow wearing away. And maybe, I don't know, maybe it's unrealistic to expect them ever to go completely away.
Mhm.
Maybe what is realistic is to be able to see through them some more, the process you just described. And and maybe, very importantly, to begin to perceive after that what is appropriate or skillful responsibility? Because that is really a core ethical question.
Okay, so we'll end here, and I will ring the bells this morning.